It's just weird because we know that it's going to be public, and we know that we're on camera and there's a microphone.
Thus is true.
But how do we get to a point to where we're just normal, regardless of the camera and the microphone? The reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to do this with you, but also with close friends, family, um, people that I'm inspired by, interested in, fascinated by. And I just want to have real, open, sometimes vulnerable, raw conversations that kind of just share the details. Not all the details, but even right now, I'm trying to curate and control too much of it, you know?
Yeah.
So just to be real and to have a conversation on camera of how God's working in our lives, what we're learning, um, what we have learned, and our trajectory moving forward. So, yeah, that's the reason why I want to start these talks, these conversations. And the cool thing is, whenever you start to reflect, or just whenever I start to see myself from the outside perspective, I start to realize how much I'm not controlled, but influenced by outside factors. And for this one, it's just a camera and a microphone, you know?
Yeah.
But um, where are you at right now in life?
First of all, you make me smile so much my upper lip disappears. I think I'm at a point where I'm trying to learn not to have such high expectations, or put those expectations on others, because I have a tendency to do that. Like, I have high expectations for myself, and then I have high expectations for you, for example, in our marriage. And I feel like there's some times where I have, I don't know, this is hard. Can we start over?
You're fine. You can keep sharing. Just talking. Normal conversation. Slightly normal conversation.
Slightly. Well, I guess I have high expectations for myself, and I project that onto those around me. And I need to be a little bit more graceful with myself, and then that will reflect with those around me as well.
How's your job going?
I feel like I'm at a point where I'm very blessed to be at the position and with the company that I'm with, but I feel like there are some times where, once again, those high expectations where you actually talked with one of my coworkers the other day at a training that we went to, and we're talking about how we have a tendency to have a mindset of like, if someone we're asked like by our manager or something to do something, it's not us, but if our team is asked, we have a tendency of being like, well, I'll just do it because I'll do it right. You know what I mean? I'll do it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having impatience, I guess, and control. Basically, that's really what it is, control.
Why?
Why? I don't know. My instant thought is maybe because when I was younger, I really didn't feel like I had any control. Now, being an adult, I feel like I have so much more control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which in reality, I don't. I don't have any control. In my mind, I think I do, but he has all the control. You know what I mean? And I need to learn to let go and let God, which is a real phrase. I feel like that's so real. And I don't ever let go. I'd be holding on, like baby, looking to a lollipops or popsicles, something sweet.
That's true. I think we all kind of like walk through that. And also, there is some form of control or agency, I should say, that we do have, I think. Um, and that's how we respond to our experiences, to our circumstances, to what's going on around us, but also not just around us, within. There's there is a good source or a sense of control that is necessary to be disciplined and walk disciplined. What I mean by that is life isn't easy, as we both know. And I think that if we have that control and that agency to understand our emotions, what it is we're feeling, and also help and understand what others are feeling, then it helps us navigate situations. You know what I mean? It's like a map, the agency, the control. This, I don't even know if that's the right word, but what I'm trying to say is it's like a map in navigating whatever circumstances we're in, and we can utilize past experiences and other people's experiences to help us. But ultimately, in whatever moment we're in, whatever season, life chapter we're in, um, there is some organization. There's a map, I think, that is necessary. So the control, I don't think, isn't all bad, but I hear what you're saying though, because sometimes when we try so hard to control everything around us, we realize that that's not realistic, and we can try to force control, but the more that we do that, the more draining it is, the more pressure it is, and the outcomes never turn out how we expect, you know? So that's a big one, I think, that I deal with and struggle with too. I think we all do. So you're not alone in that.
I think what I also would benefit from would it be praying more for. I feel like I have a tendency to pray for, my family, my friends, my loved ones, and I have love for my work environment, but I need to be able to remember that there's so much power in prayer, and then I forget to pray for my work situation, which I've done in the past when I've like reached above the bell curve or like reached an X point or whatever, which is not really good. I shouldn't have to wait to get to a point of frustration or something along the lines of that to come to prayer for that environment. I should be praying for it daily, like I do for you, for your family.
Prayer is really important. And the beauty of prayer is that it is our direct communication and stream of relationship with God, you know? The fact that we get to pray and that He's listening,
Yeah.
not just that we're sending words out there, hoping that He's listening, but we're confident that He is listening and He does have His hand in our lives. That could be hard to see sometimes. And that's why the intimacy is important. Because without the intimacy, then how are we supposed to understand and recognize and see what He's doing? You know, Jesus said, "My sheep know my voice." And if we're going off astray all the time, if we're wandering off far away from God, how are we going to hear His voice in closeness, you know? And prayer is beautiful. I need to do that too more for some of my circumstances and understand that it doesn't have to, when we pray, it doesn't have to be this curated
Like a
script that we give out. Sometimes it's good to have those practices, and but it's not always like that. It's not always reality. You know, life gets going and it throws haymakers and curveballs at us, and things unexpected happen. And there's just a realness that comes with all of that. And even though God knows all of those things that are happening, He's our Father, just like our earthly biological fathers want to hear about our stories or father figures. So does our God. You know, He's our Father. That's the image. That's um, the concept. That's all of it. You know. So, um, where are you at? How do you feel about the past 2 years since we've been married? Because we got married in May 2024.
Yeah.
and leading up to that marriage, it was like real crazy
Mm-hmm.
and messy, but it was beautiful at the same time. So from then, uh, when we got married on the mountaintop in North Carolina, to all that's happened in between now, in between then and now, where you at?
I'm trying to figure out a way to say this, but I feel like there's so much uncomfortability that comes with marriage, but not in a bad way. It's in such a beautiful way, in a sense of, I before us being married, I felt a little bit more selfish. You know what I mean? And I feel like after getting married, I want to be able to not be so self-centered. I want to be able to think of us as one, which we are. And I I feel like marriage has taught me how so many lessons, in the sense of grace, and patience, and vulnerability, which I'm not really good at, or I'm not that I'm not good at. I'm not going to say that that I haven't been good at in the past. Like, you'll ask me questions about, where do you think that stems from, and I've never had anyone ask me that question. So, in a sense of uncomfortability, that's really what I'm referencing, which is honestly necessary, because we're here to help each other grow, you know? And I feel like you do a really beautiful job at that.
Yeah, and it's not always pretty, right?
Nah.
There it goes. Mike went out for a second. But yeah, it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's real ugly and messy, and emotions rise, and we feel old feelings that are hard to deal with and manage or process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's marriage isn't easy, just like life isn't easy. None of this is easy. And when we, I don't even like to think of it like as something to sign up for, but more of a commitment, because that's what it is. It's a commitment. And when we commit to marriage, we're committing to that not easy process, that difficult, challenging, um, hard but beautiful process. And I'm not saying every single moment, every single day is bad or hard and ugly, but the moments that are, they stand out.
Yeah.
And sometimes they repeat. And, you know, as a husband, I realized, or something I've realized is, I can't do this journey without you. You know, it's, I guess the words that I'm trying to find is, a man needs his wife, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Need. I'm not just saying want, I'm saying need. And that commitment is important.
Yeah. And I feel like not feel, I didn't really have a good, I guess, what is the word? A good example of marriage growing up. So, having those uncomfortable conversations and basically like sticking through the hard times, and that's also new to me, you know. And I'm so grateful that I've been blessed with such a great partner that helps me to do my best and reflect what God has for marriage.
Yeah, it's, thank you for that, because it doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah.
But it's good to have that reassurance too, to know like sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm not doing a good job, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not providing, or I'm not holding a safe space for you, for Jasmine, or I'm not, all those thoughts, all those feelings that come with the thoughts, and the experience that cause those feelings and thoughts. It's hard, you know.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm learning through relationship with Christ is that there's a process, and we learn in that process, and it's up to us. This is where the agency I was talking about earlier comes into play. I feel like is it's up to us to make the choice to learn from those mistakes.
Mm.
We have that free will, and there's many times where I don't I'm stubborn and I don't learn from my mistakes, and I keep making the mistake, and I keep going back to um, what's causing this turmoil.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And what I think of, what is it that keeps me going back to those mistakes that I don't want to make anymore, but for some reason I keep making them.
Mm.
What do you think?
Well, you're not alone there. I have a tendency of whenever I get upset, I what is the word? I like I turn off like a computer, you know what I mean? Instead of talking things out, which I feel like you do really well. You do a really good job at talking about the uncomfortable things right then and there and trying to get to the root and get a solution. But that has not been my norm in the past, which is a habit I'm continuously trying to break. um, Instead of just shutting down and kind of like a little snail, like Gary the snail, and going back into my little shell, like actually staying out and having those difficult conversations, as to like what triggered me, or sometimes I'm not even really mad at something that's on the surface and it's something much deeper. You know what I mean?
What is the much deeper?
Back to that control. Like earlier today, we wanted to go eat at a restaurant, and I was really upset because I didn't want to eat. And then I shut down and I was really mean in the car. But it's just having that control again because I didn't I was craving like I guess like good food for my body, I guess, and what we really ate, at least for me, my experience that I had, it didn't really feel like nourishing to my body. So it was pretty upsetting. And it was like the first thing we were eating in the morning, and then not having that control again, but also my part, I didn't communicate, hey Peyton, I really don't want to eat here. I just ended up going with the flow and eating there, and I was just mad at you because I didn't communicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I should have spoken up and been like, babe, I don't really feel like this will benefit us, or I really don't feel like eating this. Instead, I just went back to my little shell and I turned off. And I went into Gary mode.
Yeah, and I feel like it's pretty normal to experience like those types of emotions, especially when we're hungry.
Yeah, the hanger.
And when things are kind of chaotic. So that was where I went wrong in that scenario. Is I was actually controlling that situation and rushing to get to food instead of taking a step back and conversating with you and be like making a plan and compromising on a plan so that we can eat nourishing food for our body that you and I both want.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the deeper aspect of that is I feel like for me was rushing.
Yeah.
I was rushing the process instead of just slowing down, taking a breather, and listening to my wife and serving her. I didn't serve you in that moment. I didn't ask you what you wanted, and I didn't. Uh, I was being selfish, rather than selfless, and um, it's just one of those moments that you realize one, those that experience, we're not alone, and two, it's cool that we can both talk about it and learn from each other, and also from within, like what was going on and how that can carry over to other situations and experiences, because it's not easy, like we
Mm-mm.
talked about earlier. And it's the little things, but the little things carry a lot of weight sometimes. The
Yeah.
details carry a lot of weight. And so we have to reflect on those details, whether it's eating out or whether it's going to the grocery store, day to day routine and activities, or something bigger like traveling, having kids, buying house, the big stuff. But it's all connected, and praying and keeping God at the forefront of our marriage
Yeah.
brings structure
Triangle.
to that. Yep, triangle, and bring structure to that, the chaos. You know, it brings order to the chaos. And I wanted to talk about, why do you think that we experience the same things over and over again?
Why do I think we experience the same things over and over again? I think that the reason why things keep repeating is because we're not letting God in. You know what I mean? I feel like mm, if we were to do a better job at least for me, I can really only speak for myself. I have a really bad habit of watching Netflix all the time, The Big Bang Theory, when I could be, in the Word and grow my relationship with Him, because that's really what it is. I want time with you, right? God wants time with me too, you know, and I need to do a better job at that. But I feel like if I were to, I can really only speak for myself. If I were to do a better job at dedicating that time and in that relationship, then I would kind of do double takes instead of reacting on those emotions right then and there. You know what I mean? I would reflect more like what would Jesus do? WWJD. What would Jesus do? You know what I mean? Instead of acting on my emotions, which your heart is deceitful. Well, that's what I continuously react on is what my heart is feeling. That's not something I should genuinely trust right then and there, you know?
Where are some what are some scenarios, or what are some habits that you have where you do prioritize God and you see the good outcomes that come from that?
I think I'm a very loving person, or at least I would like to think. So I think where I react right then and there is my love and light. I feel like God put me on this earth for love and light to spread His love and light, and I feel like I would do a pretty good job at it sometimes, or majority of the times, especially like with my family and with strangers. Like we'll go out to restaurants, and I make besties in different places. I think that's needed is spreading that love and light because some people don't know God. So if I were to be asked one day, why are you the way that you are? Or why are you nice and you don't even know me? I would hope someone would ask me. Then I can point it all back to God, you know? So I feel like I do a really good job at being love and light and loving those around me, you know, when I'm not like Hulk smash at work mainly or road rage.
I think you do that very well. I think that you have a way of working through even the toughest of walls that people have uh, up on their guard, and you're good at helping people feel seen, no matter who they are, and helping them feel comforted and just at home. You do a good job at being, I guess you can say, like a maid for the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
a
you're
servant,
just a servant for the
totally.
heart, yeah. And that is something that you do really well, and that other people see and experience too, even if you don't hear them say it directly to you. They definitely experience it. You help them feel seen. That's a good thing.
Many.
But just going back to the reason why I wanted to start this, um, I don't want to call it a podcast, but it is a podcast, just a film series, just of conversations in different areas. Because I don't have a location, I don't have like a set studio or anything like that. All I have is these little two mics and my phone camera. But I want to have conversations that are real, open, and honest, and uplifting, and deep. That's what I like. I love deep conversations. I know you do too, and I know we all kind of crave that depth and connection, and we're missing that sometimes. I know I am. With social media, we kind of get surface level connections, and those connections aren't authentic.
Yeah.
It is a connection. We do get to see other people's memories or experiences and good things that are happening in their life, or vulnerable stories, or whatever they share. That's a good thing, I think. But the problem is, sometimes, for me at least, I get caught up and consumed with scrolling and just getting a little dopamine hit from the entertainment or from the things that I'm interested in. Sometimes I get jealous. Sometimes I get envious of other people and their experiences. And I'm like, man, they're doing so good, and I'm a mess. I know that there's good things going on in my life, so I don't want to discount that. But it's just how I feel in those moments.
It's so easy to compare with social media, but most of the times that's not really the reality, you know? It's easy to go on there and post a front, you know? You don't really know what's going on. But it's true. I compare too. I see people traveling and stuff, you know, and you're not alone there. I toilet scroll to my leg until my legs are numb, and I feel like a baby coming out of the womb again.
Can't walk. Yeah, it's and I get it. I put up that front too sometimes, and it's nice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show people and share with people, especially people we care about, good things that are happening in our lives, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that should continue to happen for all of us. We should continue to share the good things, the good moments, but just to have um, that recognition of when we're being consumed, when uh, the media, the technology is draining the life out of us, and to have the will and the drive to cut it off and to say, no,
Mm.
got to put this away right now. I can re-download the app later or whatever it is, come back to it later. Right now I need to reflect. I need some time to come back home, come back to myself. And then, because ultimately, for me at least, social media, I have a fitness profile, and it's become sort of a mission for me to share things that I'm learning in fitness. And I like to write, to have a blog post and to share some reflections about what I've learned. And sometimes I get too caught up in that, you know. I get too caught up, like, I have to do this, I have to put this out there. But I got to slow down. I got to come back to a place that I can share those things still, but it's okay to wait and share those things from a full cup, not a half cup or an empty cup, because then it just comes out like spoiled milk.
Yeah.
You know, a product comes out, but it's not fully finished.
Like that carrot cake I made where it was squishy in the middle and then
Yeah.
only the edges were baked.
It still tasted good.
Yeah, thank you.
It was good, but yeah, it was a little mushy.
It was like a chicken pot pie, kind of.
Yeah. What are you're working as an assistant leasing manager right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for the company Graystar, which is a really good company, and you like working there, but it's hard work, right? And it's pretty busy.
It's pretty busy. You're dealing a lot with like people, and they're all residents, and so most of the times, if they do come into the office, it's mainly for something bad. You know, they're upset. It's just remembering that they're not really upset with you; they're upset with the situation, and then genuinely trying your best to find a solution. But also keeping in mind, there's only so much that I can do, and that's in my control. But also communicating, making sure there's a line of communication, which I feel like some people are really good at understanding that, you know, that there is only so much I can do. So I genuinely do try my best to like do follow up emails and all that type of stuff just to make sure there is that line of communication because we live in apartments and I know how it is, you know.
Yeah.
If your AC or something isn't working, that's really what it is me dealing with or not dealing but speaking to residents that come into the office. I do have to do evictions sometimes. I don't like that, but it's a part of the job that I have to do, and having those difficult conversations when it does come to like delinquency or something along the lines of that, which I not my favorite part of the job, but it is part of the job in trying to be as helpful as possible and give people resources. And whether they utilize it or not, you know, that's out of my control.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot to navigate. I also think that you're a leader.
Hmm.
I think that you're a leader and that you work really, really hard, and you take that good sense of pride in your work, and you're organized. And sometimes it might be hard for you to or at least this is from the outside perspective, recognize that not all people work the way that you do.
Yeah.
You were raised well, and your family works hard, and you learned hard work at a young age, and you learn the importance of it and the good outcomes that can come from a hard work ethic and the effort that you put into your work. So you're a leader in the sense that you like to do what's right, and you like things to be at peace and harmony. And when you see a problem, it frustrates you probably, but I think that we all deal with that with some sense, and you're doing a really good job
Thank
at your job.
you. Thanks, Lovey.
So where do you see yourself, either in the future, upcoming, or in the future long term, when it comes to working? I know eventually you and I have our plans and the way that we want to structure with kids and how we want to prioritize work. But for you personally, what do you see yourself doing? What are your dreams? What are the desires of your heart when it comes to this work life?
That's an excellent question. We were in the car the other day. Did you not hear I don't know when it was. We were in the car, and then we were driving. We're in the car when we were driving, and I remember asking myself, like, "What am I doing? Where is this going?" So it's so funny that you brought that up. Um, Honestly, I'm not too sure. I do enjoy the company that I work for. I'm truly blessed. I don't really know if I see myself working in like the actual apartment complex part long term. But I do like the company that I work for. I would hope to work in their corporate office someday. It's just honestly, I would have to push myself to go to back to school, which is something that is out of my comfort because I feel like I'm an old geezer now. You know what I mean? And also too, I overthink a lot of things, and it's been a topic of conversation on and off again for the past since we started dating, honestly. But I think I would benefit from going back to school and getting a degree. What the degree is, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna be praying about that. But I would like to work for the corporate office of my company, but I don't see myself working like physically as a property manager or as a regional because honestly, my job alone stresses me out. So I can't imagine like being in their shoes, and I've seen a glimpse of it and I think I could do it, but like doing it with a passion, with grit, I don't think that would be feasible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right now, honestly, I need to be in continuous prayer about what God has called for me next. But in my own little head, I'm like, Peyton can go back to school and finish school, and then as soon as he finishes school, we'll have babies, and I can be at home with the babies, at least enjoy like their infant stage or their little toddler stage. You know, be present because I do crave being a mom. Like I love babies. I'm gonna cry. I do love babies, and I have that craving to be a mama, and I want to be physically present for when we're blessed with that, God willing.
Yeah, I want to be a dad too, and I know both of us want to be parents. It's gonna be good.
Mhm.
And you know, for background, for anybody that's listening, right now, I am going to school for a psychology degree. It took me a long time to get there. I was kind of back and forth on what I wanted to do with my degree. So I was going to a community college here in San Antonio, starting a little bit after when I got out of the Navy, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I liked fitness. So I started pursuing kinesiology. I got an associate's degree at the community college, and I got a certificate as a personal trainer, and I got certified. Um, I wanted to continue to go to pursue that kinesiology, but what I realized through working in the personal training industry is that one, I'm highly interested in the mind and its influence in our habits and behaviors and how it impacts our personal health and wellness when it comes to and then the connection between the mind and the body, because there's a huge connection there. It's really fascinating to me. And so I was like, why do I not just pursue psychology? And I'm
Yeah.
learning so much. It's amazing. I started going to school at university. That's what I'm doing right now. And it's been great. It's been a real blessing being at UTSA, and there's so many opportunities and doors that are opening up, and I'm glad that I made the decision to do that. But you and I both know it was hard to get to that decision because of the uncertainty and the insecurity that came with it. Because what if this isn't the right plan for me? What if this isn't the right walk? What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? All these what ifs. But I think it's what I realize, it's so important to pursue passion, things that we're passionate about, because through that passion, we're going to want to give back. We're going to want to make an impact, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us and the people, our audience, whoever our audience is, that are placed in front of us. It's an opportunity to serve uh, in a way that really speaks to our hearts. We're interested in it. We're fascinated by it. And also, too, I got to use veterans benefits, and I'm still using veterans benefits. And that's what, yeah, seriously, it's like carrying us through right now, because veterans get paid to go to school. That's like, man, they take this country. I'm so blessed that our country takes care of our veterans, and you get to utilize those benefits. They pay for the school tuition, and they pay you a stipend to go to school. So that's where we're at right now. I have till next December and finishing my degree then, and then hopefully I'll continue a master's and a doctorate's degree. That's my goal. Just because I'm so fascinated in the subject, and there's so much to learn always. It's a fun thing to be a student for me, and to learn and to apply what I'm learning into real life experiences. So it's like a scientist to get to test and experiment with the knowledge. And one thing I've learned lately is, with that experimentation, I've got to be careful with how many hands I have on different plates. I don't even know if that's the saying, but I have my hands in a lot of plates, and I got to be more careful because I can't overwhelm myself and run myself too thin. Yeah. So it's the season that we're in is really cool, and it's kind of an opportunity to where we've had enough life experience to share some wisdom, but also we're still so young, and we're still learning so much, and there's still so much ahead of us. It's a very unique experience. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what the next chapter holds, because it can get overwhelming thinking about the future so much. Yeah. It's nice to be in the present. That's something I've been praying about: presence, and just being prepared, knowing that through everything that I've been through, physically and emotionally, and all of my early 20s, and by the way, all of those things that I've been through, those are because of decisions and mistakes that I made. Yeah. Nobody else did those things to me. I was raised well. My parents are blessings. They're not perfect, but they're blessings, and they raised me well with unconditional love. And they're sweet. There's family. I have family, our family, that pours into me, and cousins, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, friends. So many people that have impacted me and paved the way and showed me the right way to live, in different ways, in their own unique ways. But through my 20s, made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, that's what your 20s are for. Not what they're for, but it just so happens to be that's really where a lot of mistakes are made. Yeah, because you're a baby adult. You have all of this freedom, and if you just don't know what to do with it, you're not really guided unless you're blessed with someone to guide you. And you're willing to listen, which is not often. It could be hard. Yeah. You graduate high school, depending on what you do after high school. It's like the world's yours, the oyster. The world is your oyster. Mm-hmm. You open it up and you realize there's not always a pearl. Mm-hmm. And is that why they say that? I don't know. It just sounds like it makes sense, but it's not easy, is basically what I'm saying. And this responsibility starts to stack up, and you start to make you start to get away with things, but those things have long term consequences. At least what I've realized from my experience. I know some people that really do a good job in um, doing it the right way, going into the 20s and going into young adulthood the right way. But I didn't. You did a good job. And we're just so free, and there's so much to do, there's so much to experience and explore, and we want to adventure, and we have this independence and autonomy that we want to walk in, and it feels good. Because I remember when I was in high school, I was like, I cannot wait to get out of here. I can't wait to leave this place, to leave my hometown, to go and explore. And I did get to do that. And it was amazing. There's lots of amazing experience. I met some of my best friends in the Navy, and I had some of the most beautiful experience traveling and being on the boat, being on the ship, and just experiencing camaraderie with everybody that I worked with. It was a really good experience. That's where I started working out heavily and got into fitness. And it's not all bad, but the bad that does happen, it's important that we take ownership of that bad. It's important that I take ownership of the bad and learn from the mistakes that I made, because I got myself into a lot of bad situations, and I put myself there. Nobody else did that. And I hurt people, I hurt myself, and I caused a lot of worry for my parents. And I struggled with alcohol. I drank, and I drank hardcore. And I was getting away with it, but I went off the deep end, and I experienced the physical effects of that. And I did damage to my body. I ended up in a hospital twice.
Yeah.
You were with me at the tail end of that, and you prayed for me. And the one thing that helped me in those hospital beds, especially that last time, was the words that really changed the trajectory of where I was headed in my life, because I was going down a bad path. But it was my dad telling me that he was proud of me.
Yeah.
He told me that he was proud of me while I was in a hospital bed. That doesn't make sense to me. At the time, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why is my dad proud of me? While I'm in a hospital bed. But it was because I was trying. It was because I had to tell people that I need help. I had to say that I can't do this anymore. I can't keep doing this to my body and to my mind, and can't keep damaging and poisoning myself. And I understand that not everybody has problems with alcohol, but let me tell you, my problem was bad, and it was a problem, and it was damaging more than just myself. And so those words really changed the trajectory of my life, and my life took a turn. That's when I decided to surrender, truly surrender, and commit to Jesus and follow his teachings, learn from other people who were doing the same. And so many people poured into me at that time, that vulnerable space. And there, I have so much gratitude for the people that were there for me in those times.
Yeah.
And now I just want to help people who are in those dark spaces, because I know what it's like. And those people aren't alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like they're alone.
It goes piggybacking towards like having those vulnerable conversations. I feel like sometimes we can have a tendency to be like, "Hey, how's it going? Good," and we kind of take that. You know what I mean? Instead of having deeper conversations, which I feel like you're really really good at.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I try to force the deep conversation. I'm like, we got to go deep. It feels like that. It feels like we got to go deep and figure something out. Because for me, do you remember how you mentioned something about control earlier when it comes to your job? For me, that sense of control, uh, the negative side of it, from is I feel like I have to understand and know things, and it gets to a point to where I feel like I'm trying to control that knowledge, because the knowledge, I feel like, gives me a sense of peace, you know? And maybe it does. Maybe knowing and understanding it does, but I try to figure it out on my own. And I'm glad that I have that part of myself, the problem solving, trying to figure things out. I think it's a part of every man, to get to the root and to figure out solutions. That's part of that agency. But we don't always have control of how that works out and the timing in that. We got to go out and experience things and do things before we kind of come to full truth and knowledge about whatever it is, that thing that we're trying to figure out. And it's not easy, but it's always worth it. And I just want to share with you. I haven't shared with this a lot of people. I want to share with you though some things that I'm working on right now, just for personal accountability and just to put it out there. But I understand the process and the work that needs to be done to get there. It's started. It's happening, and this is one of those things. But I'm gonna put my personal training, small business out there, and it's gonna be different. It's more so gonna be like life coaching, especially for people that might be a little bit more timid about going into physical fitness and personal health and wellness. And for young adults, young men, especially young boys, young teenagers, people that are in adolescence that are kind of coming up into their teenage years, trying to figure everything out. And I'm writing.
Mhm.
No, I'm glad we did this though. This is a nice time for us to be intentional about our conversation. We don't always get to do it because life gets busy.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It means a lot. But yeah, so we'll see what happens from here. But this is it. It's happening when I put these conversations out here, just like this. No agenda, no strings attached, no plan. Besides the plan of structuring it, but as far as how the conversation flows and goes, no plan. Just let it happen and put it out there, because you have things that you have things to offer. You have aspects of your heart and of your mind and of your soul that other people can benefit from. I know I do. And I know we do as a couple and as a unit. And whoever else that I talk to, I know they do too. It's about sharing. That's all it's about. And people can take from it. Maybe they won't, but that's okay. So,
This is my husband, y'all.
uh, but yeah, so thanks for watching, and thanks for tuning in to the very, very first conversation. Don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I think the title is going to create itself, but we'll see.
Stay blessed, never stressed.